Hey,
Good morning.
it's Hot Topics. Hey,
Hey,
what's going on?
I feel like, every day I come on to the Hot Topics and I don't know where I am. And you know what song was popping into my head? I don't know if you know this one. This is really old. Been through the desert on a horse with no name. It's so
Yes,
good to
yes,
get
I
out
do know that
of the
one.
pain. That's what I feel like for some reason. I feel like I'm like through the desert trying to get
Going,
out. I
going,
don't know
going,
why
going,
it
go.
popped into my head. Who sings that?
I don't know. If
Um,
anybody knows, let us know. I have no idea.
da, 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 da.
I do know that song though. That's actually a good song.
It's a good song. So no, I feel great. It's just it's I'm getting used to, so everyone out there in who's watching us and who's not confident on getting on video, every day I come on with, I haven't had a webcam for how many months now? About 3 or 4 months. I haven't had my
Yeah.
lights because you can see how dark it is in here. Haven't had my lights. Haven't had a microphone. There's no microphone here, so I literally just have my laptop, and I've been doing it for several months now. So if you're worried about doing anything, we've talked about it over and over again, but come on, like, get over it, and jump on, because that's how it goes. So I think, I was thinking, Stacy, we should do some type of getting confident on video or something for January. What do you think about that?
Well, I think it's really interesting that you say that because what ends up happening, and as you know, we've done a lot of different types of video training throughout our years together.
Yeah.
And the biggest pushback that I get when we talk about getting on video, everyone goes, "What equipment do I need?
Right.
What equipment do I need? What equipment do I need?" And like literally, I think I can't even remember now, but when we go through, like, equipment's like at the end, and
Yeah.
equipment is bonus.
Yeah.
Equipment
Absolutely.
is not necessary. And I think that's what I love about the fact that I think it's an excuse.
Yeah.
Like, equipment is an
Absolutely.
excuse. I don't
Yeah.
have a
So
good
you have
mic, I
to.
can't go on video. That's an
So
excuse.
you
But
have
you
to
know
get
what?
to the real reason why you're not jumping on
Exactly.
video, right? And it's kind of like like, if you're comfortable enough to do something, then we're going to do a TikTok challenge, you guys. We're going to do that shortly. We're Neither of us are on TikTok. We watch it, right? And we're not like 100% confident because we've never done it before, but we're just going to do it. So there's nothing special you need your phone, right? And it's the
That's
same
it.
kind of thing. What you really need in anything that you do is you need confidence to do it. That's it. You just need
Yeah,
confidence
because
to
if you're
know.
confident in it, you don't stress about the mic. If you're
Right.
confident with what you're doing, you don't stress about what camera I have or what lighting do I have. You can make it work because, like you said, you have your laptop, you open it up and you clicked enter room.
Yeah. So maybe we need a confidence challenge. Maybe that's it.
I don't know. I have to think about that one.
Yeah, something about, like, so that you're confident, like, in anything. I mean, I think, how many of us, and we used to do this back in the day, right? Still do it to some point, but we're like, "Could you read this over, push the button before I send the email?" Right?
Yeah.
And have you ever, like, struggled and worried about pushing the button on an email because you're afraid, oh, if I have a spelling mistake or something, like, who cares? But it's true. Like, so we kind of freeze and go, oh, should I send this? Meanwhile, if you had a conversation, it'd be fine. Right.
Well, it's so funny. Like, I remember way, way back, like when I first started doing social media training, I can't tell you the amount of people that were terrified to press the button to click post.
Yeah.
I have literally done hand over hand going and moving their mouse and going click with them because they're so worried about what people are going to think. And same thing, if it's not 100%, the lighting's not perfect, the mic's not perfect, the camera's not perfect. If everything's not perfect, I can't do it.
Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
yeah, you can.
Yeah.
I
And
mean,
it's
there's
funny,
certain
we
things
were
along the way.
talking, so I was watching, just so you guys know, because I watch sometimes incredibly intelligent TV. So I watched The Bachelor in Paradise Canada on the
A
weekend.
very intelligent TV, yes. Highly,
And
yeah,
it was during
very
Thanksgiving.
real.
And I was sitting there and we were talking about how bad the lighting was
Oh,
in
really?
the
Oh, I
after show.
haven't seen it. Is it bad?
On the regular show, there was an after show. There was a
Oh,
weird
okay.
after show, and we were commenting, Spencer and I, about how bad the lighting was, and everyone looked washed out like a ghost. It was not attractive at all, and it was interesting because you're sitting there going, it's on network TV, right? It's being seen by, I assume, millions of people. I don't know, or maybe
Professionally
just me.
produced?
Yeah, and the lighting was really awful. And so what? I still watched it. Did I say I'm not going to watch it because the lighting was bad? Nope.
Right, but that's the thing, is that why are you watching it? You're not watching it for the perfect lighting, you're not watching it for
Right.
the perfect landscapes and the perfect this.
Right.
You're watching it for the very intelligent conversations
Very
about it.
intelligent conversation. And so don't get us wrong. So when we teach this stuff and we teach it in our Global Impact Accelerator, etc., we try to teach you how to optimize your view, your video, your lighting, everything. Why? Because it's not distracting. So theoretically, I mean, if you take what I just said about the lighting, that was just a distraction to me, right? As I was watching it, the show was a distraction,
Okay.
but not enough to, I just notice it, but I would notice it. Most people wouldn't notice it, right? Because I look for things like that.
Exactly. Yeah, same with
But
me.
I mean, so we teach you to like minimize the distractions, but not at the point where you don't do it because you're worried about the distractions. If I was worried that the lighting here isn't bright enough, I wouldn't be live here with you, right? And it's
Yeah.
fine as long as the feed is decent, right? So my feed is good. I'm not cutting out as far as I know.
No, you're good.
So yeah, so that's good. So it shouldn't hold you back. And I think it's that crucial point, I think, because now that COVID's kind of settling in, like it or not, either way, it's kind of settling in and people are kind of going back to work. We talked about this a couple weeks ago. It's that crucial time where people have to make the call on what they're going to do next.
Right.
And a lot of people who jumped on trying to do, online and didn't do a great job are just leaving because, they said, oh, it didn't really work. And then the other people who said, hey, this might work, now have to get serious. And they have to start thinking
Absolutely.
about, right, have to start
Yeah.
thinking about all of these things. So it's just interesting that every day we meet people that are like, oh, I would love to, but, right.
Yeah, and it's interesting. So I'll tell you a story about bigger conversation I had with a friend that I ran into Monday. She's sort of on the other end. She started something new sort of in the last few months, and now she's looking to take it more seriously. And she's an entrepreneur, and her business is focused around helping entrepreneurs with writing, which I think is very needed. Anyway, and her social media company that she's working with keeps saying, like, I need video from her. And so I mentioned to her, oh, I've seen your videos or whatever. And she goes, oh my goodness, like, I hate doing videos, hate them. And it's like, well, why? And she goes, oh, I hate the way I look and the lighting and I can't find a good space. And I'm like, well, just use your phone.
Yeah.
Like, there's no excuse. Like, we literally have a TV camera in our pockets and we're worried about lighting and like, yes, those things are important, but we have windows, we have overhead lights, you literally can just put your phone and you're good to go. So it was interesting to see somebody who was, and she's an extremely confident person.
Right.
And she's extremely confident in the written word because she teaches it. But as soon as you put that video camera on her, boom, she starts to shut down. So I found that fascinating that she was saying
those
that.
Those are the people that I always say, look, they're perfectly comfortable going in front of a room, right? Teaching.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that's the kind of videos they should do. Like,
I literally just spilled coffee all over myself. Keep talking. I'm going to use a mask for this.
You couldn't figure out where your mouth was. You kind of got
apparently.
Yeah, no,
that's
I think
masks can be used for.
Some people, if you're comfortable talking to a group, then film that way. Like film yourself from a little bit of a distance. It feels like you're at a distance, but set the camera to zoom, and then just talk like you're talking to a group, and then you should be fine, right? So again, I would go back to, is it really how you look? Is it because all of a sudden you feel like it's going to be, out there forever and you can't change it? Is it the information? Is it because you're uncomfortable speaking in front of a group? For a lot of people, that's it, right?
Yeah.
So they're one-on-one, they're good, but when they're speaking in front of a group or in front of many people
Who knows
online.
how many? Well, and a really quick way to get over that is to go live and spill coffee.
Yes, that's right. Or you can come into our Global Impact Accelerator, because we have a whole
Really?
accelerator on speaking.
Yeah.
So
We have a whole
where
accelerator on speaking and a whole accelerator on video.
yeah,
And
so I
equipment is
mean,
last.
that's the reason we did it, right? Because of exactly that. And so it's like, if you do it step by step and understand that it's more than just theory, it's like, do this, do this, do this, then you're going to be good to go. So I wouldn't, hold it back. And it's just, it's the time now where you kind of have to figure out, what lane you're going into, because more people are coming in, obviously, but then there's a lot of people leaving who never figured out, or didn't want to invest, or didn't want to fit, thought it was going to be easier. Everyone thinks the online world is really easy, right? You put, like, how many times have we heard you put up a YouTube video and make a lot of money?
Well, I love this. So I'll create Instagram, and if you build it, they will come. And all of a
Yeah.
sudden it's like, oh, I have 1 million followers. I'll do a video. It'll go viral and I'll be a
Yeah.
millionaire. Or I'll
Yeah.
do an online course and like I'll launch it. And if you build it, they will come and everybody
Yeah.
will launch. And then they do all of that and they're like,
Crickets. Yeah.
anybody out there? Right? Like, just because you're on social media. So it's definitely a lot more to it. It's
Yeah.
not hard if you
No.
learn the right ways of doing it, but it's not as easy as if you build it, they will come.
No. Everything is work, guys. Like, everything in life is, you actually have to work, you have to do something to achieve a result. That's how it works. So
Wait,
regardless of
I have to
whether
do something?
so I mean, you
I have to do work?
want to build muscle, you exercise, right? And eventually what happens? Eventually you get really good at what you're doing, right? And then you forget that first day you started, where you're like, I'll never be able to. I can still remember, so you guys know I owned a yoga studio, and I can still remember people coming in who couldn't touch their toes. They couldn't do anything. And they just were, their doctor said, you need to go do yoga and get flexible or something, right? So they would come, and then, after months of coming regularly, they were like the best students and they could do everything. And it's just a matter of repetition. So it's the same with anything that you try. It's just, you keep doing it, eventually you get better. I don't believe in the 10,000 hour thing that they said a long time ago, right? You need 10,000 hours to be an expert. No, you don't. You just need to do it until you have that skill sort of embedded in you. So, for some
it's
people,
muscle memory, right?
yeah,
It's the same thing. Like, if you do something and then you go back to it, the muscle memory is there. So I remember I used to do martial arts. So that muscle memory, right? I took a break for a while, but my muscles remembered. So
yeah,
again, it's expanding that. So if you do start to do something like video or, anything online or online marketing or whatever, the more you do it, you also just get that muscle memory so that you just do it more naturally. It just becomes
yeah,
part of, okay, I'm ready to go. Like this morning, it's like I haven't been here because I was away last week. I think we were together the week before that. So it's probably
yeah,
been like 3 or 4 weeks that I was like physically in my office going live.
yeah,
But I just was like, computer on, click
yeah,
here, move this over, light on, boom, I'm ready to
exactly.
go. Because I didn't
Yeah,
have to think, because when you do it a lot, you no longer have to think, you
yeah.
just do, because it's
Yeah,
a
you're
muscle
not
memory
worried
part.
about something, oh, I forgot to plug this in or that. It's just done, right? So,
Yeah,
like, that's why I
exactly.
don't mind. I don't have anything here, but it's fine. It's
Exactly.
fine. It all works. So what else is
Very,
going
very
on?
true.
Anything?
Well, so the same person that I was just referring to earlier that was talking about video. So we ran into each other at a park, and I haven't seen her since before COVID. So we are just doing a really quick chat, a really quick catch up. So I was asking her, because I knew that she was sort of had revived her business from many years ago, but with a different focus. So it's like, how's business going? Blah, 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 blah. And then sort of she had finished. And then what I expected her to ask me was, how's business going? right? Because
Right.
that's your typical question, right? How's business? How's it going or whatever? But she didn't. She asked me a very interesting question, which I was not expecting, but I thought it was really cool is, are you and Faye still having fun with your business? And I'm like,
Really?
well, that's an interesting question as opposed
Well,
to how's business or whatever, because yeah, so I'll tell you how I answered that. How would you answer that?
well, what I thought was really interesting is, are you still having fun means that she believes we were having fun. And that's good, right? That's good because we were and we are. And so that to me was like a big check mark. I mean, this is the first time you told me, so I haven't heard this before. So that
Yeah,
was
I meant to tell you
check mark
yesterday.
for
Sorry, I
me.
forgot.
No, that's okay. So
We're
it's a
talking
big
about
check
everything
mark for
else.
me because it's kind of like, oh, so she did realize we are having fun. Yeah, we both were very clear. I don't know how you answered it, but we were both very clear at the beginning. Like, if it's not fun, we're not going to do it, because
Exactly.
it's, if it feels heavy and burden and we have to do it every single day. We were together yesterday and we were working on some new stuff that we're adding in. And like it's and we both said we both hate tedious stuff, right? But we have to do it, right? Like tedious entering things in. But you know what? It isn't that it wasn't fun. It's just we don't both would prefer not to do tedious, but we do it. Why? Because tedious allows you to do the stuff that's fun.
Exactly. So
Well, how did you answer?
well, I answered with yes, absolutely, because I enjoy, like, we have a good partnership. We do have fun doing it. We laugh when we're talking about different things we can do. Is it always sunshine and rainbows? No, because there are times we have to do tedious work. There are times when I need to do accounting and bookkeeping, and that's just not fun. And there's things that, and yes, it gets stressful when we're doing a launch and we've got a lot on the go and we're trying to, make sure that all of the technology is working and all of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But overall, absolutely, because like you said, we said right in the beginning, if it's no longer fun, we're not doing it anymore.
Right.
And I think we forget that because you start a business or you start a partnership or you start whatever, a project with an intention. And our intention was, we wanted obviously to help people and income and all of that kind of stuff. But we also, one of our main focuses was also to have enjoyment and have fun.
Yeah.
And if we had forgotten that, like, that's not cool. So I guess my question to our viewers and our listeners are you having fun in your business?
Right.
Is the intention in the beginning? Because I mean, you don't go to be an entrepreneur to like be stressed out like 50 million hours of the day. Like, you want to enjoy it, that you were passionate about it maybe, or you just wanted to do something that you enjoyed. If you don't believe that, I know you're not a big passion person. But I know a lot of people are, I'm feeling so motivated, or like your why, like that was our why. Like, we wanted to have fun together.
Yeah.
We also wanted to embark knowledge and, create all these systems and stuff like that, which we've done. So yeah, we're still having fun doing it. And we admit, like, we both enjoy going live. If this became a chore where it's like, seriously, do I have to do
So
this
we don't
one
really
time?
think about it. Like, we don't really, like, I never ever get up and go, oh, I have to go live today. It doesn't even occur to me. Right. It's just that we're going, oh, okay, 9:00, I better go, 1:45, I better get my coffee and get everything organized. But it doesn't ever occur to me that, like, oh, I don't want to do this. So if you have those feelings, and so in full transparency, we had that in some of our business, right? We were like, this is too complicated. Sorry about that word. It almost slipped out. This is too freaking complicated.
You're not a family show.
And so we dumped some of the stuff that was not fun. We're not really dumping it. We're rebooting it, that we believe will be better for the people involved in our business and better for us, because it was getting a little overwhelming to do what we were doing. So we recognized and rebooted. And so if you're out there and you're like, well, I'm not having fun, maybe it's just a certain part of your business that you're not enjoying. And I guess we should also preface it, Stacy, about saying, like, what's fun? You know what I mean? Because for some people, They don't need fun. They just want to, do their work, get a good job, like do a good
And that's
income,
cool.
and that's great. We just like to laugh. And I have to tell you, like, everyone knows we both have, stuff that's happened in our lives. So the only way to get through it, at least for me, is to laugh and to sing and to drink wine. And that's what gets me through everything that's happened that's not been good. And so I'm not willing, as I tell people, what are you not willing to do anymore? I'm not willing to do something that I hate. Right.
Right.
So it's up to you. If you're willing to do something you don't like to do, but you make lots of money, good for you. I mean, there's no wrong or right. You do not have to be. That's why I don't like the word passion, because everyone always goes, oh, well, follow your passion. Well, I don't really have a big passion. I have a lot of likes. Right.
Right.
So I have a lot of likes, not a massive, I must do this kind of, glowing light coming at me saying, this is your calling. I don't have that. If you do, awesome, good job.
Go for it.
But I don't. And so, so if you at least like what you do for any reason, like it because it makes you money, like it because it gives you freedom of time, like it because you don't have to think about it. Whatever that is good enough. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I also think that if you're not enjoying what you're doing, then that's another thing that you need to look at. So
Yeah.
why is it that you're not enjoying that anymore? And
Yeah.
the fun factor is going to be different for everybody, right?
Totally.
Like what that looks like. But if you're waking up every day with dread and overwhelm and you're just like,
Yeah.
oh my goodness, I don't want to step into my office, it's just it's too hard or whatever, then like I think you need to take a look at that and figure out, like, are there different aspects of your business that do make sense? Like we did get to that point. We did get to the point where it's like, okay, there's things that are just not feeling good
Right.
here. And it was interesting because it was from our side as
Yeah.
well as from our community, who were
Yeah.
also sort of saying like, we're just not, it's just not the right fit in
Right.
regards to how we were running things. They
Right.
wanted to be part of the community. They want to be part of our network and stuff like that. But the way in which we kind of structured it it didn't have the same fun factor for them
Yeah.
and us. So we're like, okay, well, again, and that comes from audits. And I'm a
Right.
big fan of looking and analyzing and statistics and all of that kind of stuff. So when we kind of did that bird's eye view and went, okay, where is our focus? What do we need to change? What are some things that we could do differently? We went, okay, we can do this differently.
Yes.
And then as soon as we ask that question, they're like, yes, that makes so much more sense. So it's
Right.
also from both sides. But if there are things that literally you're going into going, oh, I just don't want to do this, aside from accounting.
You have to trust that
what I
gut
don't like.
instinct, right? You have to trust it. Like there are things that your body will tell you that this isn't a good fit for you, right? If you get up and it physically makes you ill to think about getting through the day, it's probably not the right job. Now,
Right.
none of us, so understand, including me, none of us, most of us do not have the luxury of just getting up and quitting a job. I never did. I always had to work, even ones I hated. And I can remember being a job that I used to absolutely love, would have stayed there forever until I got a new boss. And once I got a new boss, she was not a nice person, and truly not a nice person to anyone, and totally soured everyone's impression of the company. And we all left, all of us.
Yeah.
And but you have to understand, if something changes in the environment, you don't like it, well, you have a choice. You can go get another job, because if you're wishing for that person to leave, might never happen, right?
And it may not happen overnight. Like if you want to get another job, like it may not happen overnight. I had a job I had a job, I worked for 9 months.
Yeah.
Hated it.
Hated
I
it.
loved it for about 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And then because you're the new girl and everyone's really nice and everyone's really friendly, and all of a sudden it was like, you're not, like, I just started to see the inner workings of it.
Yeah.
The cattiness behind the scenes, the way that the boss it was a total shift. And I'm like, I'm out. but it took me 7 months to get out.
Yeah.
Because sometimes when you go, okay, this is not for me and I need to make a change.
Yeah.
Now, a business owner has the luxury, especially if you are your own business and your own brand, you have that luxury to make very easy changes.
Yeah.
You can change your niche, you can change your marketing, you can change your
Change.
branding, you can change your services pretty easily. But if you're working for someone, you may not always have the luxury of making those changes. So if you do need to find, quote unquote, find another job because it doesn't make you happy,
Right.
sometimes it does take a while to do that. So it's not an overnight fix, but you
No.
can make small changes and small actions. Because I just started looking immediately. It took me a while to find the job, and my next job I loved.
Yeah, me too. Well, that's what pushed me on to do my own consulting business.
Right.
Right. I realized that, you know what, there might always be somebody who comes into play that I'm not going to see, eye to eye with. There's always, if you're comfortable being a corporate person and you're okay following, the leader, then it's great. But if, for some of us, if you have a real hard time following that direction because you don't believe in it, then that chances are you really should be an entrepreneur.
Right. Absolutely.
Because that's a big sign. If you can't just, you might not agree with something, but you do it when you're in corporate, right? I wasn't very good at that, because if I really said that, if I would look at something and go, that doesn't make sense because there's a better way, I would go do it and then I get in trouble. But I would do it anyway because I just thought that's the right thing to do for the business. And that's not right when you're in corporate. You have to follow your leader, right? So, so you have to understand your personality and where you are. But there's, the grass is not greener on either side, just so you know.
Very, very true. Very, very
but
true.
You have to at least, understand. So for those of you, and we've been talking about this kind of subject a lot, right? A lot lately, because everyone, I think, is slowly, it's your head's kind of peeking up out of the ground and going, okay, I think it's safe to get out there now. And everyone has to make those decisions. Even a lot of, I've talked to a lot of corporate people that now all of a sudden their companies are going, okay, it might be time to come back. And they're like going, well, I'm not sure if I want to go back, right? Because they're getting used to being at home, and they might have been more productive at home, right? So a lot of things are changing right now, and we have to, as individuals, be flexible enough to understand that there isn't a right answer, that everything is changing rapidly at a very rapid pace right now. So even at what we're saying today might be different next week, right? Because then, with everything that comes out in the marketplace, new software, new ways of working, new companies that are all of a sudden, showing up that didn't even exist a year ago, right? There's so many different opportunities. There's different, like now, I work with a restaurant business, and the restaurant business is changing, right? Because not only, at least in here, not only is, you're limited in terms of seating and that still because of COVID. Now people got so used to just doing takeout, right? That they're like, well, I don't really need to go into the restaurant anymore, right? And so that's completely changing the model. So do you need, the big restaurants and the big experience? Can you make a lot of money as a restaurant just doing like superior takeout? There's so many things that if you'd asked, 2 years ago, would that be in the marketplace? You would have said, no, people will never want to do that. Now, we were looking at, remember there's a whiskey show called The Spirit of Toronto. And it's a very cool show. I went to, I guess it's 3 years ago now, tastings and stuff. Well, now they do a virtual class online where every month now, where they ship you the whiskey and do everything. That didn't exist. Like the whole point of it was to go there and enjoy it, and the ambiance and stuff. And now it's like, it's different because it's delivered to you, but you're kind of like, well, this is kind of cool. Like I can just have a group of friends and do it at my house and still be part of the big group, right? So lots to think about.
Yeah, it's been really interesting to see, just from my perspective, just to see how businesses, I mean, we've talked about this quite a few times as well, but I'm still love the creativity of business owners, how different businesses have reacted to the changing landscape and what they've been able to do that's creative
Yeah.
in order to gain more business, but also to serve more customers. Because sometimes, like I said, in the restaurants, restaurant chains, they haven't been able to do this. Clothing lines, different bricks and mortar stores and stuff like that. Like the creative juices that have been flowing with the business
Yeah.
owners on how they can do business differently is still really fascinating. And now that, again, you're starting to, peek out and see what's going on in the world, and I'm ready to go back out, the combination of back to sort of what we knew, which is like the in-person things,
Yeah.
in combination of the creativity that they put forward and when they pivoted, which is, I hate that word now, but that's okay. I'm getting used to it. Putting those two things together really does make a fantastic business model, because you're satisfying the people who are comfortable coming to your
Yeah.
location, but you're also satisfying the people who either can't or are not able to come. So it's been a really cool transition.
It has. It has. So lots to do, lots to think about, and I think if you're kind of up in the air on it and don't know what to do, now's the time to just take a break and go, okay, let me take a day and say, what do I really want to do? What did I enjoy doing? What can I see doing going forward? And looking at all the opportunities that are out there before you again go back in. We're getting close to the new year, which is when everyone likes to do new things. So you
Oh,
should
are
think
you going to
about
run your New Year, New Plan challenge in January? I
yeah,
love
it's
that
coming
challenge.
out in January. So
I love that
if
challenge.
you're really on the fence, it's the time to do it. It's the perfect start to the year, and I think this year it's much more even appropriate, because last year people were still like, there's still nothing. There's still, I can't go everywhere. I can't get my business going. But now things are opening up everywhere, even here in Canada and in Ontario. And so I think it's a great opportunity. Excuse
Yeah,
me,
I
to get.
think we're going to see things very different. I think people are getting a lot more motivated, a lot more energy. I saw a lot more people outside. Just this past weekend, we had Canadian Thanksgiving. I always feel like I have to say Canadian Thanksgiving as opposed to
Yeah,
Thanksgiving. We had the Canadian
yeah,
Thanksgiving. A lot of people outside. I just saw just a lot more energy out there. So
yeah,
I'm really
yeah.
feeling like the motivation towards the end of the year is awesome. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I like by the end of this fiscal year, so by the end of December, we'll officially be in our new studio. We're getting ready to do a conference there in January. You won't see this background anymore because I'll no longer have possession of this place. And to me, so just so everyone understands, so sometimes you don't feel motivated, or you're kind of like, well, I'm in limbo, because I've been in limbo, right? I've been limbo between
Yeah.
all the houses and stuff that I'm going through. But we're still obviously working and doing everything. But for me, I've accepted the fact that I'm not going to be my 100% until I'm stationary there. And I'm
Right.
okay with that. So if I'm only 80% right now, I'm okay, because I know come December 20th, I guess is the day that I think I'll be fine. December 20th, we'll be officially in the new studio. We'll be officially be able to like not have to run around or go anywhere. And I'm very excited about it, but I have a goal or a date, right?
Right.
So you have to, whatever it is. So you might not be physically moving, but you might think to yourself, I got to change it up. I got to do something. So give yourself that date. And I would say now it's October, be kind and to yourself and say, by the end of the year, I'm going to have kind of a plan done, right?
Right.
Kind of a plan of what I want to do. Come January, please join us for our challenge, the New Year challenge. Come January, it starts right away, first week of January, and it takes only 5 days. So come do the challenge, and then boom, be ready to go. But give yourself a date that says, this is when I'm going to do it. Because if you do not have a date in your calendar, it will keep sliding.
Yeah, it's really funny because I literally was thinking of that this morning, because I have a lot of updates and stuff like that to do for GIA,
Yeah.
our global impact, before the new crew comes in next week,
Yeah.
because there's been some changes to some of the platforms. There's been a couple of changes in regards to the podcasting platform that I use. There's been some changes in regards to Spotify and how they've updated some stuff. So there's just some minor updates
Yeah.
that I want to ensure that are in the program. but I realized that I had this wonderful list. And you know what happens when you have a list without a date?
Nothing.
It stays on your list. Nothing happens. So I've had this wonderful list, and then literally this morning I went, oh my goodness, I literally forgot the cardinal rule, which is in order to take action on something, you need to block that time, you need to put it in your calendar. So that's literally what I'm going to do as soon as I get off of here is actionable items that have a date, actually get them done.
Yeah, we know we have a new crew starting, so we know that we have to get certain things done. And there's a couple of things. I mean, just before we jumped on, it was we just talked about what, can you check this out? Can I do this? And we did it so that we know we'll do it today. Right. So it gets done, it's in, we don't have to worry about it. And then we can move on. The other thing, I think the reason that we always say, we enjoy, we have fun. Well, we got to get the, as we said, tedious stuff out of the way. And it's not just fun, because if you just think you're going to have fun, you're not going to get anything done.
You still have to do work. You still have to take action. Sometimes it's tedious and sometimes it's fun. So it's awesome.
So,
all right. Well, have a great week.
Yeah.
We have a lot of work to do. You have a lot of work to do. I have a lot of work to do. So, so do you. So we will see you next week.